Hi everybody, my name is Angela Cleary. I'm a feminine empowerment coach and I specialise in healing after narcissistic abuse. So today I want to talk about the power of self-talk, the power of open dialogue. So, we all know the phrase like, if you talk to yourself, you're crazy, but it's not too bad if you don't talk back to yourself or something like that. Do you know what I mean? That we're crazy if we talk back to ourselves. But like Carl Jung, he actually says that open dialogue, speaking to yourself, is a great way to actually get to know yourself. You see, that's the thing. Our mind, our unconscious mind takes up 95% of what we do or what we think or how we live our lives. The conscious mind is only 5% control. And what I discovered is our unconscious mind is the part of our mind that buries and hides things from us as a way of protection. So any childhood trauma or any kind of trauma really, our own unconscious mind hides that from us. It suppresses it as a way of protection. But this is actually kind of detrimental for our later in life, and I think this is what leads to anxiety and depression, is because our own mind hides stuff from us, our body will still react to that. So I'll give an example of when I first discovered how powerful my unconscious mind was. I was living the conditioned lifestyle and I started my spiritual awakening in 2018. And I've learned so much about the mind and the soul since then. But it's mind-blowing how our unconscious mind actually dictates our lives. So, for example, I was in a narcissistic relationship, and when that broke down, when that ended, like 3 years after, I completely cut ties. I didn't speak to him. He didn't exist to me. You know what I mean? And I had a lot of bitterness and hate towards him. But I heard through friends that he nearly died, that he was after collapsing and he had a brain aneurysm. And I was like, don't care. He's nothing to do with me anymore. What he did to me was terrible. I don't care. But my body reacted as if I did care. And I was just like, okay, what? I don't care. I honestly don't care what happens to him. And in fairness now, I hate saying this, but I wished ill of him because of what he did to me. I was very angry. I was very unforgiving of what abuse, verbal abuse he put on me for those 8 years. That I felt like I didn't care. But as I said, my body reacted. And this is when I started to understand the unconscious mind and how the unconscious mind works. I had to dig deep. I had to figure out why my body was reacting like I cared when I felt on the surface that I did not care. And it turns out, I actually named my unconscious mind George, and I spoke to him as a separate entity. I spoke to him and I started asking them questions about what was going on in my mind. Why was I reacting to this when I didn't care about this man? And it turns out I felt guilty. I actually felt guilty unconsciously for causing his illness because I'd wished such revenge on him in a sense. And this is when I learned the power of forgiveness as well, is because we hold on to somebody else and not forgiving them for so long, it actually hurts ourselves. So my body reacted as a form of guilt, in a way feeling guilty because I felt like I caused his illness. And when I understood this, those symptoms went away and I realized that I still didn't care, in a sense, but I actually was feeling bad that I caused that on him. And I realized that, look, no matter what anyone does, I don't want to cause ill will to anybody, and he got better and everything, and I'm glad of that. But that's when I started to understand the unconscious mind. So between doing that research and talking openly to myself and understanding so much more about myself and my past, I realized that most of my life I had made decisions based on the suppressed memories or thoughts of my unconscious mind. And this was a mind blower for me because it made me realize an awful lot. Like I think I was 30 when I discovered the power of the unconscious mind. So I'd spent 30 years of my life making decisions based on these suppressed feelings, these suppressed memories, this suppressed trauma. And I realized I'd made so many decisions around relationships, around my life, due to this unconscious bottling in a sense. And I found the power of open dialogue. And I did some study with Carl Jung and on individuation and shadow work, and he speaks so highly of having open dialogue with yourself. Speaking out loud to yourself, asking yourself questions, will actually help you dig deep into those suppressed memories, those suppressed traumas, to uncover them, to feel them again, and to release them. It's so powerful. And I do this on a daily basis. I speak to myself all the time. And I describe it as being my own therapist. And this is how I discover the truth within my soul, the truth within my mind and my body. Because having that open conversation, like the unconscious and the conscious are two separate parts. But the way I see it as well is your unconscious is your ego, your shadow, where all that stuff that you hide is. The stuff that we're afraid to dig out, the stuff that we're afraid to face. And, it can be scary going into that. But when you actually, I suppose, actually a little bit playful with it, and when you actually call your unconscious mind, your ego mind, your shadow side, a name, you can actually speak to that part of you openly. And they talk back. You see, that's the thing, like, our unconscious mind has been hiding so much from us for so many years. But if you simply ask it a question, it will actually get back to you. Because there was other things that happened in my life as well. There's things not working out, and I was like, I know it's not me. I know I'm not doing anything wrong. So I used to talk to George, and I'd be like, what's going on here? Why is this happening? Because I know it's not this. So what is it? And then straight away I'd get an answer. And that's the power, the beauty of the power of the mind, is that we can answer ourselves. Even though we've suppressed that, our own mind has suppressed those memories from ourselves, we can still dig deep and uncover that if we simply ask. It's like asking the angels for help. They can't help you unless you ask them. The same way your unconscious mind is not going to tell you your secrets until you actually ask them. And that's the fun. It is. It's hiding secrets from you. And I just think that's mad. Like how, like, when the memories are suppressed, they're buried. You don't even know they're there. You don't even know that's what you feel. And like I like, it's the same for me when it comes to my inner child and inner child healing. Unconsciously, for 30 years of my life, I thought my mother didn't love me. Unconsciously, I had spent 30 years of my life believing I wasn't lovable, that I wasn't worthy of unconditional love. And unconsciously, my inner child blamed herself and solely herself for my mother's abandonment. I didn't know this till I was 30 years of age. I've been studying psychology since I was 14 or 15 because I knew I had mental health issues and I was trying to figure out what was wrong. But because I didn't understand, like, because I felt like my mother leaving it happened so young that it didn't affect me. I was like, no, sure, how are you supposed to miss something you don't know what it's like to have it? So I spent my whole life telling myself that I didn't care that my mother left. And unconsciously, my inner child only blamed herself. So that's the power of, like, 30 years of my life, I was living my life based on unconscious emotions, unconscious feelings, unconscious thoughts, unconscious memories. And like, that's how I attracted so many narcissistic relationships as well. It was because I felt so unworthy unconsciously. I knew I had self-esteem issues. I knew I had mental health problems, but I did not know the core reason for my I suppose, attracting abuse, attracting relationships, for my outlook on life, for my whole life. And it is only because of the power of actually speaking to myself and speaking back to myself that I was able to uncover these secrets, these buried emotions. And like, now that I can dig deep, now that I do have that open dialogue with myself, I do it consistently. So, people journal, people go to therapy, people have other ways of accessing their suppressed memories, their traumas, whatever. But I think, for me personally, the power of speaking to myself has been so beneficial. And like, that's the thing with silence as well. When you're in silence, you have that time to speak to yourself. Like, we spend so much of our time distracting ourselves from our unconscious thoughts. We don't want to dig that dirt up. We don't want to face those demons. But being in silence, alone with your own thoughts, when you're actually speaking to yourself, it is so beneficial. Like every day I do this. Like I could be watching something and I could get triggered from watching it. And I pause whatever I'm watching and I'll ask myself, what's going on here? Why do you feel this way? And this is a great way for addressing your triggers or addressing your anger issues or any kind of pain issues that you might have, any emotions that come up. Pause that movie, turn off that noise for 5 minutes and ask yourself, why am I feeling this? Ask yourself, what do I need to understand within me that is getting me triggered? And that's the thing. Our triggers are our responsibility. We're only triggered by something if there's an unhealed core wound within us that has been resurfaced because of this trigger. We tend to blame the external thing or the external person for triggering us, for making us upset or emotional. But you need to ask yourself, this is the power of speaking to yourself. Ask yourself, why are you triggered? Where is this coming from? Where does this stem from? And that's the thing. Every trigger, every emotion, every thought we have, every feeling we have, it comes from somewhere. So if we're trying to heal, I suppose, our suppressed, our traumas, we're trying to heal the dark side of ourselves, the triggers, the depression, that kind of emotion. Ask yourself, why am I feeling like this? Ask yourself, what happened within you, or when did that happen for you to have this emotion? Where did you learn this behavior? What is it within you that you need to face to heal this? And this is the power of self-talk. Ask yourself, just ask you. Look in the mirror. I've actually started doing the whole looking in the mirror thing and talking, and I find it so, it's actually even more beneficial, I think, than actually just like open dialogue. But if you want to do it in the mirror, you can do it in the mirror. But like literally, and even talk to yourself, like, speak to yourself as if you're a separate person. And that's beautiful as well when it comes to congratulating yourself. Do you know what I mean? When you speak openly to yourself and actually congratulate yourself and say, well done you. Instead of saying like, I did great, I'm great. That doesn't sink in as well as telling yourself, you did good, you did well, you should be proud of yourself. You know what I mean? Because then it's like somebody else is actually telling you this. And that makes it actually sink in better because, I just find it so beneficial, so enlightening to talk to yourself, because there's so much within us. We're such a powerful species. Our souls are so otherworldly, so powerful. There's so many secrets within us. We come into this planet with amnesia, spiritual amnesia. Well, I don't think we do really. I think we come in with all the remembrances from the past lives, but because of society, this leads us to block that out and block our spiritual abilities. But we are actually so powerful that, like, we have so many secrets to uncover. So many secrets from before this life, from previous lifetimes, from our origins, from our ancestors, from that magical power of the universe. We have that within us. So like, not only are you discovering stuff about yourself from this life, from your past life, from this trauma, the traumas that you've experienced in your childhood, you're actually uncovering secrets from who knows how far back. Like, I'm still learning about myself. I'm still enlightening myself every day by going, wow, this is new. This is something I didn't know about myself. And it's mind-blowing. It's mind-blowing to discover those parts of yourself. It's mind-blowing to discover the secrets within you. Because we're, as I said, we think it's all darkness. It's not. Our shadow side is there. Our ego mind is there. Our past life traumas are there. Our childhood traumas are there. But there's such beauty underneath all of that. There's love, there's power, there's magic, there's spirituality, there's rainbows, like, we're afraid of that darkness, but underneath that darkness, there's color, there's light, there's beauty. So that's why, like, speaking to yourself openly, having that open dialogue with yourself, you can uncover magical things about yourself. You really can. You can uncover the magic of this universe. And that's the thing, I love learning now. I absolutely love learning, because I learn more about myself. I learn more about this universe. I learn more about everything, just the truth. Like, the truth is out there. But really, it's actually, the truth is in here. And the truth is in here when you actually start talking to yourself. And that is the beauty of it. We need to start talking to ourselves more. Stop being worried that, oh, people are going to think you're crazy. No. You see, anything that's outside of the norm, which is, I hate the norm, there's no such thing as normal, but anything that's outside society's norm is deemed crazy. So anything like quirky, eccentric, anything to do with your soul, anything to do with spirituality, anything to do with the truth, they deem as crazy. So if you're like, don't talk to yourself, it's crazy. First sign of madness is talking to yourself. No. I'm not crazy. I'm a little, unwell. Sorry, that's a song. But yeah, the power, like, it really is. We're not crazy for speaking to ourselves, because, as I said, our unconscious mind takes up 95% of our body. Sorry. It takes up 95% of our minds. So speaking to that part of ourselves, speaking to that hidden part of ourselves, is actually so beneficial to help you with your anxiety and your mental health, because it actually helps you to discover what is wrong with you. You're going to a therapist, and therapists are brilliant. Don't get me wrong. I've had great benefits from going to therapy before, but I've discovered that I can be my own therapist. I don't take any antidepressants anymore, any prescription mental health drugs anymore. I don't go to therapy or anything like that. From the power of meditation and from the power of speaking to myself, I have discovered everything. And like, when I have my down days as well, and I do, of course I do, we all do, that's the days I have to talk to myself more. That's the days I need to spend in silence more. So if you're having a triggering day, if you're having a very angry day, a very emotional day, sit with yourself. Ask yourself what is going on, and why are you feeling like this? Where is this trigger stemming from? Ask yourself what's wrong. Treat yourself as if you saw a friend who was upset or sad or going through any triggers, you would sit with them and you would talk to them and you would ask them to open up, and you'd be there for them. So treat yourself like that. And I've spoken about reparenting your inner child and all that, and that's so beneficial. But treat yourself like you would a friend. Treat yourself like if your friend came to you for advice. Be your advisor as well as you, in a sense. Go to yourself for advice, and also be your therapist as well. Nurture that side of you. If you're triggered, like we always punish ourselves. We always tend to, give out to ourselves when we're angry. And like I do this as well. Like, I can get snappy, I can get angry, and then all of a sudden it's just like I get more angry because I'm angry, and this triggers me even more. And when I actually just sit with it and go, what is wrong? Like, why are you feeling like this? What is making you so angry? Find that within yourself. And I've discovered, everything we do has a reason, has a core reason. So any reaction I have, any trigger I have, any emotion I feel, I will ask myself, what is this core root? And sometimes I'll have to sit with it for a while. Sometimes I won't get the answer straight away. But it will come, and I'll figure that out, and I'll be like, this is what's wrong. It's like those aha epiphany moments. When you speak to yourself, you have these aha epiphany moments. You have these mind-blowing breakthroughs. And that's the beauty of it. Speaking out loud to yourself is just, do you want the answers? The answers are within you. Everything we need to know is within us. We just need to keep asking those questions. You're not going to learn unless you ask, and your unconscious mind is not going to tell you unless you ask. They're just not. They're the best keeper of secrets, I'm telling you. They keep, and that's why I find mind-blowing about our mind, is our own mind keeps secrets from our own mind. But yeah, so we need to actually ask ourselves, what is going on? What do we feel? Why are we feeling this? What's going on? How are you even? Just ask yourself, how are you feeling today? Get that answer back. And as I said, it's like journaling. When you journal, you tend to ask a question and then you just journal down how you're feeling. And that's what it is. You're literally, instead of getting a pen and paper, you're just speaking openly to yourself. You're literally asking back and forth questions, figuring out what's going on today, why are you feeling like this, how are you feeling, what triggers, what emotions are coming up. And I'm telling you, it's instead of like, you know, with these triggers and emotions, they will keep coming and keep coming and keep coming until we get to the core reason behind them. So that's the beauty of doing this, is because, you know, we can end those triggers. We can end that unhappiness. We can end that anger. We can end that emotion if we just start asking ourselves those hard questions. If we start digging deep and actually ask ourselves what is going on. So it is not crazy to talk to yourself. It is the most beneficial, therapeutic, enlightening, mind-blowing thing you will ever do, because you will discover so many secrets about yourself and so many secrets about this world by just sitting with yourself and asking yourself those hard questions, or those easy questions. Just how are you? How are you doing today? How are you feeling? And talk back to yourself. Name them. Like, you know, I called mine George because I know a friend of mine used to nickname me George for some reason, and he passed away. But like, when I was deciding to do this, I chose to call my name George after that. And I kind of wonder now, did his soul know that he was talking to my soul, George? It's mind blowing. Anyway, that's a side note. Anyway, sorry. So yeah, I'm going to leave it there today, and I really hope this helps. If it does resonate, please like and share, and please subscribe to my channel so I can reach as many people as possible. And if you would like help on your journey, please book me for a discovery call today, and I would love nothing more than to help you on your path. Thanks for listening. Bye bye.